So the character we introduce right now, segment 3 per se. I mean, before anything else, before the playout series, we do come here to establish everything per se. So the character we are introducing today, obvious, is a tree per se, and it's falling under the category of segment 3. So we come to here, talk about this segment 3 per se, and the first thing that we actually come here to actually talk about is usually K. So what is the conditions based items that what can this character what spells can this character cast, and then based on the league code question, what's the rulebook that we truly have in general. So cool. First then, we come to the playout series. I think they do. I think this was like the main part. So in the playout series, what they do is very simply, it's like the binary search, if you can recall, is that you ask the question, big or small, and then based on the center, are you going left or right, and it's just that we sort of like are call itself that we constantly reiterate throughout the entire tree per se. As we transverse, we constantly reiterate each subtree, and that's how we actually build the whole entirety of the system. So we have a 0,5 per se. Cool. So this one is like the most complicated ones, and so we go by the simplest one. Say for example, it does want to find the 0, 0 per se. So the first thing it asks is that within the range, because this thing is like the 0 and 5 is a range per se. Ask the range left or right. Left. Cool. We still want to find the 0, right? Left or right? Left. Left or right? Left. We end up in the 0, 0, we return the 5. That's how we do it. Cool. But now they are asking this question, which is a more difficult one. Is asking that what if you give a range, and the range, it falls under both the left and the right. This one, I think, in my opinion, at least, is the most complicated one. So how it comes down is that, say if I want to find within the range of 2 to 4, obviously 2 goes to the left, 3 to 4 goes to the right. Cool. And the green value per se is the value that you sort of like returns. So just now we returned a 5, but for this 2, 2, so how it goes to the 2, 2, same thing as left or right. Left, we go to here, go to the right, found our 2, 2, return the 7th, and that will be under one subcategory item. And now remember, we have the range is 2 to 4, so we still have the 3 and the 4 per se. We come to here, left or right, cool, right, go left, cool. And notice that typically, if you go like the operation Z per se, is that you're gonna visit both 3, 3 and 4, 4 per se, but we are moving in a smarter way. Operation Y per se, the way we actually just stop here and we just collate the value and return the 5, as opposed to going to Z, where you go to this value and actually collate that. Instead of doing operation z per se, we're doing operation y, where we just already have the collated value, and then we sort of like return as a subcategory, and then return the final value per se. This saves us time, because instead of operation z go to two values, I'm just going to the one value and I just return the value. So this is very cool. We're using operation y, go back to the value, return the sub value, add those two values in, and then we have our final output to the system itself. It's pretty cool. And that just brings us to like talking about the spell. A lot of spells like that we talk on trees about, it's a lot to do with maneuver map, smart maneuver per se, and that we are just yeah, like for the grand things of things is that we constantly are smartly maneuver towards places, we are maneuvering around the map per se, and it's just fascinating. It's just so cool. And obviously we always have a brute force to actually fight against our character. And obviously if you were to actually do have like a rule book that's actually asking for us to actually get like a range for 2 to 4 per se, what is gonna go, it's gonna reiterate every single item, 1, 2, and obviously the operation, if you go through every single little item, it's gonna be big O of n squared per se. This is brute force, this is operation W per se. But if it's operation U, you can see that they are constantly cutting by half, and from my limited amount of knowledge, I feel like them cutting a half is straight away fall under the category of log n, and m, where is the size of the array per se. It's obviously beat the n squared out of the water, and you fight against the brute force out of the water. It's no question asked, right? So to me, that's crazy. M log n versus n squared. You don't even need to think about it at all. I mean, for the most part, I mean, when we actually talk about this playout series, it's just talking just like one small sub story about the entirety of the story per se. But what I'm actually getting is that how quick, how efficient it is. That for the most part, like I think the very great example that is actually talking about is operation Z and Y. It's very common for this item, for this story to actually repeat itself. Operation Y is going to repeat that story over and over again when you actually try to actually utilize it. I think if you were to talk about the special feature, it's operation Y per se. And you can see obviously how smart they maneuver, that you don't need to go into Operation Z, where so much tedious work, and you just fall under the category of Operation Y, really fast. So I mean, this is just a very small part of the story, and obviously I'm just very curious about how it's gonna everything fall into pieces together, so that we can actually figure out things from there. That's something that I really want to learn and talk about in the future, at least. So with that, everything comes to an end.